Thank you very much, Christian, for the introduction. I'm Carsten from Madvertise, and I hope you're all as energized and probably a bit exhausted from the last 2 days of the Next 10 as I am. So I'm going to very quickly talk to you about App Store ranking, the new SEO, SEM of mobile. Mary Meekers from Morgan Stanley has postulated that the mobile internet is growing faster than the desktop internet did, and that it will be bigger than most people and most of us estimate. Why does she say that? If we take a step back in time and look how technology develops, then we see back in the 60s, we had the decade of the mainframe computers. Large machines which would fill up an entire room or an entire office. They were clunky, they were slow, they were expensive, they were immobile. Still, people used them as a means for computing. And then if we fast forward by 2 decades and move into the 80s, then we're in the decade of personal computing. So machines have become somewhat smaller. They are able to fit on our desks or under our desks, and they are able to run a number of programs for word processing and calculations and a number of other software tools. But generally, we still perceive them as slow and somewhat clunky and not very powerful. So if we fast forward again another 2 decades into 2010, all of a sudden we're in the era of mobile and personal mini computing. So by now, almost everybody of us has a smartphone, which is extremely powerful, extremely slick in its design. It's small, it's mobile, it's always with us. We can access the internet. We have a broadband connection in our pockets, and we are able to personalize the device. And that brings me to the app economy. Let's take a closer look at the app economy. As we've learned today, there are by now 250,000 different applications out there for the user to choose from. And those 250,000 applications which have been created over the last couple of years have been downloaded more than 4 billion times from the various app stores. So that means that each single one of us has downloaded, on average, 45 applications to his smartphone. So it's an incredible busy world out there in the app economy. For example, Gartner estimates that this year alone, the total turnover generated by app stores will be north of $6 billion US. $6 billion US. That's incredible. For an industry that didn't even exist 2 or 3 years ago, $6 billion is a hell lot of money. So, and as we learned before, about 99.5% are going to Apple today, which is probably going to change, but right now Apple is the main player in that space. Now, if we take a deeper look at the app stores and how does it actually work, the question which I need to ask myself as a small application developer, how can my app be found in the App Store? That's really the critical question once I've decided to launch an app. And on the screenshot behind me, you see a screenshot of the German Apple iTunes store in the news category. And you can see that on the top 3 spots last week when I took the screenshot, you have very well-known brands, Bild, Süddeutsche, Welt. For them, it's quite easy to be in the top 25 and to be on top. But what do I do as a rather small or mid-sized application developer with a great idea? And how do I gain visibility for my idea and for my app? Let's take a bit of a detour. How did it work in the good old days of the fixed-line internet? I needed to ensure that my website, my offering, is in the top 10 search results on Google. Then I'll get free or cheap traffic to my website, and I'm in business. If I don't manage to be listed on this first page of search results for the relevant keywords I'm building my business on, then I'm in trouble. So how does that translate to mobile? In mobile, I need to be in the top 25 list of the download charts, otherwise I'm not going to be found. So on the screenshots behind me on the left-hand side and on the right-hand side, you can see the App Store as it would look on my mobile phone and the App Store as it would look on my desktop PC. And you can clearly see that we have those top 25 lists, and you need to be in there to gain visibility, to reach your customers. So how do you do it? What are your options? Number one, you're a big brand. So if you're Facebook or Nike or Coca-Cola, easy. People will come to the App Store, look for your brand, download your app, you're in business. Second option, if you're not a big brand, you can have a unique idea. Not that easy either. With 250,000 different apps out there already, chances are high somebody already had a similar idea to yours, so not very feasible again. What's the next option? You can give Steve Jobs a call on his cell phone and ask to be featured in the next Apple television commercial. Is he going to answer his mobile? Not sure. Last option, you can do advertising. And we think that's the smartest option. So we at madvertise have developed a product which we call the App Catapult. What does it do? It guarantees you a listing in the top 25 of a specific app store in a specific category which is applicable to you. But let's take a deeper look at this top 25 listing. What exactly does it mean? How does it work? Research has shown that 96% of users browse through the top 25 category at least once a week, either on their cell or on their desktop PC. So you really need to be in those top 25 because otherwise it's hard to be found. So how do you get into the top 25? Still remains the big question. With Google, we know there are about 200 parameters, and those 200 parameters somehow influence how your page rank is calculated. With Apple, it's not as complicated, but still it's a bit intransparent. So we've analyzed the algorithm and took a look at what are the driving factors, what influences your listing in the App Store. And it's mainly driven by the number of downloads. There are a couple of other factors like your ranking and your landing page design, but the main driver really is the number of downloads. So what you need to do is generate a large number of downloads in a rather short period of time, 24 hours, 48 hours, and then your app will be catapulted into the top 25 list. So how do you do it? You run a mobile advertising campaign. You push your banners, your advertising out to a number of other high traffic portals and applications. The end user sees your banners, they click on the banner, they are linked into the App Store, see your landing page in the App Store, click the Download Now button, download your app, and you're in business. So it's quite simple, actually. What we've noticed over the last couple of quarters with a number of our clients is a ratio of 1 to 4 between paid versus free apps, paid versus free downloads, excuse me. So what do we mean by paid downloads? Paid downloads are the downloads you pay for through running mobile advertising campaigns. If you, for example, spend 10,000 euros on an advertising campaign, then you get roughly 10,000 downloads, and you're catapulted into the top 25 list very easily in a number of different categories, depending on which category you compete in. And then because you're in this top 25 list, you get an additional somewhere between 30 and 50,000 downloads on top, just because you are in that top 25 list and people browse through the App Store and find you in that top 25 list. So our argument is that the App Store ranking is or will be the new combined search engine marketing and search engine optimization for the mobile world. Thank you very much.